Hey man, welcome back to another episode of Auburn All the Time, double A double T. Hey, I'm sitting here with my favorite Auburn fan, Mr. Auburn football himself, Mr. Bruce Howard, and I'm your boy Rod Stevens. And man, welcome back to another episode of Auburn All the Time. Hey, listen, if you're out there watching us, why don't you click the like button, the share, the subscribe. Comment, leave us your comments, man. We love to read your comments, and we will respond. But with that being said, we are literally at the halfway point. And so we're hitting, and we're literally halfway.
Yeah.
Because we're 3-3.
Yeah.
Following I don't even have a word to describe the sighting we had at LSU in Baton Rouge. Score ended up being 48-18, and just wasn't pretty at all. You had some shades of some good things, but wasn't enough. Clearly wasn't enough. You had a Heisman candidate over there on the other side that clearly showed that he probably deserves to be in the top three running for the Heisman. I mean, what can you say? When you got a Heisman candidate on your side and they show it, hey, it's tough to beat. Right. But with that being said, man, I'll let you give your take on how you felt like the game played out, and just what you saw, and what can we say about it?
Man, there's not really a whole lot to say at this point. I think for me personally, the switching the quarterbacks, that's a mistake. Mm-hmm. The Peyton Thorne experiment hasn't panned out at all. The Philip Montgomery offensive coordinator hire hadn't panned out at all. Mm-hmm. So it's at the point now, I think it's time. I think Peyton Thorne, you're 6 games into the season, and if you don't know by now what you got in him, you won't never know. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think that somebody else deserves another shot, and I think that should be Ashford. I think he deserves a couple of games at least to have full control over the team, the offense, and let's see what we got, because Peyton Thorne, to me, like I said, I personally, based on, you can only go by what's happened so far, I just don't think he's the answer. Mm-hmm. I hate it because I know Auburn spent a lot of money to get him. Right. They went out and got him. But don't kid yourself, he was not the top choice. The top choice was Grayson McCall. He didn't have the grades. He didn't pan out. And since that happened, they had to take the best available they could find. It was him. Just not a good fit. That's all I can say. He's not. He's not. He can do a little bit of running. He throws decently. But for whatever reason, his talent, his skill set, and his scheme does not fit. And I don't know if that's more so on the receivers. I think it's more so on the receivers, and I just don't understand. I mean, it's kind of like hard to say because I don't understand. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they haven't found an identity yet. And common sense tells you, to me, you don't have an elite receiver. We don't have what LSU has. We don't even have what Georgia got. We don't even have what Alabama's got. We don't have the receivers that can get separation to go up and get the ball. Right. So you know that by now. But to me, they've shown they got 3 or 4 capable running backs. The offensive line is somewhat improved this year, and you got a mobile dual threat quarterback that you haven't fully turned loose yet. But the last 2 weeks he's played, he ain't played much. He has graded out highest of anybody on offense. Mm-hmm. And there's really not nothing else to say. It's time to me, what I would do, I don't see no rhyme or reason Montgomery be back next year. They're trying to combine 2 offenses into one scheme. It's not working. Mm-hmm. So for me, moving forward, I would go with Ashford at quarterback, and I would let Freeze take over the play calling. And let's see what we got, because to me, even though I know we're playing the number 13, number 12 team in the nation, we have a shot against them if we make these changes. Mm-hmm. And we're playing at home. Home field's big in the SEC. Mm-hmm. But all that, in order for that to happen, there's got to be some changes being made. And whatever they did during the bye week, I will never do it again the rest of the season. It didn't work. I don't know if they took time off, spend time with family, but it was no coaching being done. It was hardly any practice being done. Couldn't have been to look like that. And you come out and play Georgia, I would say is good, if not better than anybody the last 2 years. Right. Had chances. Right. And then you go on the road and play against LSU, who has probably one of not the worst defenses in the SEC. They got talent,
Yeah.
but they're not fundamentally sound, and you couldn't take advantage of that. You got problems.
You got a problem.
But I mean, we can sit here and make. There's no. At some point, you are who you are. You can't make no excuses. It is what it is. But my biggest thing is that was embarrassing. But this, to me, this is the most critical game of the year right here, because you lose this one, which most people think they will anyway. If they lose this one, I don't think they'll make a bowl game, because I mean that's just my opinion. There is some winnable games coming up, but at some point you got to start to bleed. So that's where I'm at. So I'll let you take over.
When you talk, I love to hear you go first, because I agree with just every single thing you said, and it's clear, man, that we are a one-dimensional offense, man. I mean, the way they started this game out, just throwing it kind of felt like they were just trying to prove something in the beginning, and then we didn't hand the ball off to maybe the second or third series or something like that, and I'm just sitting up there like, you just said, I don't know what we doing, and that was my question.
They came out on the first couple of plays. They actually ran the RPO, the slant, and it worked.
But
they never went back to it.
Well, why didn't they go back to it? And
I think the biggest issue, I'm just trying to think about it from a mental standpoint. I think Freeze is at the point, I could be wrong. I don't know if this makes sense, but I'll say it. They want a return on their investment. They spent this money. Obviously, they spent money to go get Thorne, NIL money. And so they don't want to admit that it was a mistake. So they're doing everything they can to try to get whatever they can out of him, if that makes sense. But at some point, I mean, you can't keep doing the same thing. I know that I think there's been several mistakes made, in my opinion. The offensive coordinator hire, the Peyton Thorne, bring him in. And to me personally, I don't like the fact that Freeze throws the team on the bus every week. Talking about, we know we're at a talent advantage. Talent is, I understand that, and I know he's doing that for recruiting purposes. But what kind of motivation is that for the players that's there? They're not going. If they constantly got a guy, the head guy, the guy that you're playing for, telling you're not good enough to beat that team, then how you mean? But to me, as a player, I would take that as a slap in the face, and I would play even harder to prove him wrong. Yeah. To me, but to me, that's no way to motivate them, in my opinion. Right. So I think there's been several mistakes made, and the only thing about it, I look at it this way: you say these teams, which technically we all know, all these teams have more talent than us. The teams we lost to, we really should have lost to. That's fine. But them same teams we're playing, they're only playing 11 guys at a time on that side of the ball.
That's true.
I mean, you're not it ain't like you're facing all 85 guys at one time. You're only playing 11. So, I mean, I don't get it.
It's simple. Like what you're saying is simple. Put your best 11 out there and go up against their best 11, and let's see what happens. Yeah. But like you said, man, I don't know. Right. I clearly don't have an answer. Right. I've had a couple of people ask me, what you think about. I can't tell them. I mean, I can tell you like this right here. Okay, we got this home game. Right. We got Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. We got New Mexico State. New Mexico, I hope, surely to goodness we'll be all right on that.
I kind of want to, I know they're not good, but we'll see.
But what else? The last home game is Alabama.
Go to Vandy, go to Arkansas.
So we got 4 home games.
Truthfully, we've already played the hardest part of the schedule.
Here's the thing, though. Right. The way we play at home is clearly much better than what we do on the road. So if we drop 2 of these home games, we may be in trouble, bro. Well, just to be honest with you, even going to Vandy and Arkansas
won't be easy.
It's not going to be easy.
Right now, I don't think they'll win at Arkansas because of the quarterback situation. Yeah. They're so much farther ahead of us with the quarterback situation. Yeah. Talent-wise, team by team.
They still got Rocket too, right?
They do. He's not playing. He healthy? He's not. You can tell he's a step behind this year. He's not healthy. Yeah. But other than the quarterback situation, even Auburn's got more talent than Arkansas. Yeah. I mean, that's just obvious. I mean, I ain't just saying it because they do. But right now, I don't see us beating them at Arkansas.
Not at Arkansas?
I'll say this. Not with Thorne, anyway. I'll just say that. I don't see us winning an SEC game on the road with Thorne. Based on what he's done so far.
Right. And let me say something about Thorne, man. I'm not gonna beat him up too bad.
Right.
But the fact that, like you said, we're going into game 7, and we have no idea what we're gonna get out this kid.
And the thing about it, the offense from a week to week basis looks different too.
It does.
I mean, so they haven't established what they want to do.
Yeah, because like I said, we don't have no identity. We clearly one dimensional, and everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it.
And so why not? Why not key up and okay, well, we know if Auburn can't run, they dang sure ain't gonna be able to pass. So but Thorne, man, I was saying that he made some throws that we just don't have that 50-50 ball getter. Now Fairweather is going to be one of those guys.
Well, I think they actually found a second tight end this last game, Brandon Frazier.
Yeah, Brandon Frazier, and man, he made an awesome catch from Ashford. I jumped out of my seat when I saw that. I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe this is a start or something. But man, I tell you this, Auburn played. The second quarter was the best quarter that they played to me, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And they gave up 15 points a quarter aside from the second quarter.
Right.
So you just can't do that, man. And especially not putting anything else on the board. I mean, if they were putting 7 on the board each quarter, it would have looked better than what it ended up being. And so man, it's just one of them things, man. You just sit up there and you just say, I don't know. And we don't. And if anybody out there does know, please comment and hit us up. Auburn all the time, AATT. I mean, we right here. We'll see you on YouTube or whatever. But listen, man, do you want to move on or you want to stick on?
I'm going to say two last things real quick. Mm-hmm. To me, Freeze, he showed, to me, it's sort of like he showed a weakness in this game. We got the ball back, well, maybe a little over 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, maybe even longer than that. And, that was an opportunity to drive down and score some points, at least feel good coming off, score some points, get some, leaving that bad taste in your mouth. Mm-hmm. And he sat on the ball and ran the clock out. And that's when LSU had second and third string guys in.
Right.
We could have easily went down and scored a touchdown.
Right.
But no, he want to sit on the ball and just I didn't like that. And I don't know. Just thinking about back at that game, it's kind of like it made me lose my train of thought because I'm trying to get the thought of the game out my head. Mm-hmm. So we can just move on.
Well, okay. Well, as y'all know, we got Ole Miss coming to town. Lane Kiffin, Dart, Quinshawn Junkins. 6 o'clock game. The line is 6.5 right now. 55 total. 54.5 total. Something like that. Like we do every show. What do you see, or how do you see Auburn overcoming this team, which is an offensive, minded? It's clear that they're offensive minded. So how do you see us faring to get out of this game with a win?
I think there's not really much I can say that they can win. I can't give you a logical reason why they can win. But just knowing Auburn, they play better at home, obviously.
Right.
And I still believe, I got a feeling that we're going to see Thorne. I don't want to see him this game, but I got a feeling we'll see him because he actually does play better at home. But that leash has to be it has to be short at this point. It has to be. And this is what I was going to say. It just came back to me just talking about this game. I don't say I run into a lot of people, but I hear a lot of people on these message boards and just people I run into on my job. Oh, we need to give Holden Garner a shot, the third string quarterback. Mm-hmm. Everybody's calling for him. Mm-hmm. But the way I look at it, you got Hugh Freeze, you got Philip Montgomery. Say what you want to about them. They got all this experience for quarterbacks. And I got to believe Auburn's paying this guy $6 million a year. And by Auburn doing that, if Freeze in his mind thought that he would give us the best chance to win, don't you think he would be playing by now?
I believe so.
I mean, there's got to be a reason why 2 coaching staff has had him third string.
But let me ask
that's
you
just
this.
me.
Let me ask you this,
okay.
and this just since you jumped on that situation, and you touched on it a little bit. I know you were saying the NIL, but really, man, just in all honesty, what's What's holding him back from giving Ashford a shot? What do you feel like that's holding him back? Besides the NIL and you saying that they just trying to get everything they can out of this guy because they paid him this amount of money.
I know this. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I hear stuff. You know, I know people, a few people.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't saying I'm not an insider, but I hear people and I know people.
He an insider.
And I'm not. But the quarterback competition was real close. It wasn't like Thorne came in and ran away with the competition. It was close. It was real close. But they felt like he was a more experienced quarterback. And of course he was. He's played way more.
Right.
But at this point, to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. They must not. I don't know. I mean, I can't make up something. I don't know. Because it's not that much difference between the two. It's not. It can't be. It's no way. And actually, I would say, not even throwing the ball. When I seen Ashford throw the ball this year, he throws it better.
Yeah.
To me, especially, well, I say this. This is how I look at it. Peyton Thorne throws a better short, intermediate pass. But throwing the deep ball, it's not even close.
It's not,
Ashford throws a better deep ball than him.
Yeah.
And we know he's a more capable runner. He's more physical. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if it can't be because of that. Not unless they're not comfortable with him being a full-time starter yet. But at some point, I don't know if it's a pride thing. It's I know is it sort of like an ego thing where Free's like, man, I can take this quarterback and I can develop him and I can get him where I want him to be at some point. I don't know. I mean, I wish I knew. But I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked that it's went this far in the season after they ain't got the job already, to be honest with you. I'm actually shocked it's made it this far based on the results.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're on pace to have one of the worst offenses in Auburn history this year. I mean, even worse than 2012 when they fired Chisholm. If that tells you anything, I don't get it. But to me, I've been saying this, and maybe I'm gonna eat it, but to me, this is almost a make or break game. Even if I don't mind if we lose this game, if we show something. To me, you got recruiting that is hanging in the balance to me. You got all these recruits in town this weekend. We need to show something at some point. And we're scoring less than 21 points a game against Power 5 opponents this year. I promise you, you could take Jacksonville State's roster against ours in this schedule, and they would score more than that. I mean, I'm just telling you, they would. It's like I posted this on a Auburn message board, Rivals, and this is the truth. I had a coworker of mine that knows college referee. Okay. I mean, he's not a big time. He's not he's not in the SEC.
Yeah.
I think he's in Conference USA or whatever conference UAB's in now. That's where he's from. And the referee, they've done several spring scrimmages. This referee did. He said that Jacksonville State had more skill players on offense than Auburn did. This was been the spring before Auburn had their transfers come in and everything. But still, that tells me a lot. Just then, that should never be the case. Yeah. But that's how far off we are, and that's
Jacksonville coach Rich Rod.
Yeah. And I know. I mean, if you look at Rich Rod and Philip Montgomery, not comparing the two, but Rich Rod. We will move the ball with Rich Rod. He will find a way to move the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's either here or there. But yeah, I'm running out of words to say on this situation. It's not just the quarterback; it's the whole offense. Really, you can say quarterback is the biggest part of it, but the whole offense is in shambles. And I think, like I said, I think Freeze made a technical mistake. I know why he did it because he took over a broken program that lacked players and lacked recruiting, and he wanted to put his hands around and focus in on getting the roster built back up. But at some point, he's going to have to take over that play call.
Well, he's going to have to cut something.
Something's going to have to give.
It's something going to have to give. And that's what I was going to lead to. That he's going to have to.
Right.
Like you said, it's clear that, the ties with Philip Montgomery probably going to be done.
Yeah, he'll be, not unless there's just like this dramatic
turnaround. And
then we're scoring 50 points a game the rest of the season. He won't be back. He'll be the fall guy. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's common sense.
Of course. But moving on, we'll get back to the Ole Miss game. What you feel like we need to do? I know you said you don't know, but I mean, just give us something, some kind of outlook or
I would say, believe
game
it or not,
plan or whatever.
Ole Miss, they're still bad defensively. They are. They've improved some, though. I think they get after the quarterback a little more. I think they got like 22 sacks on the year, which is probably second in the conference. So to me, once I looked at them numbers, that's a red flag. Auburn can't throw the ball. So shorten the game, to me, the same game plan that in my mind that they would have used against LSU would be the same game plan I would have wanted them to use against Ole Miss. Because, kid yourself, it's a good system that Kiffin runs. I mean, a lot of pace, you know. They spread the ball out too, but they got a monster at running back. Everybody knows that. But for Auburn, I would shorten the game as much as possible. I would sit on the ball as much. This is the game right here. I would run the ball 80% of the time. Yeah. Just really because the defense, it shows signs against LSU. I don't think the defense is bad. I mean, they've improved. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're as bad as they showed against LSU. If that makes sense. I think they wore down. Yeah. I think they're starting to wear down now already. We're at the halfway because they're on the field too much. I mean, it shows. So I would shorten the game. I mean, it's kind of say you don't want to come after Jackson Dart because he can hurt you both ways. Yeah. And they got Michael Trigg at receiver. They got two good running backs. Got Bentley. They got Judkins, of course. Their top receiver hand is hurt, but they saying expect him to play. Their offensive line is pretty massive. I've seen them. They got that Pettis kid at tackle. They got some good size up front. And their defense, I mean, say what you want to. I know their defense coordinator, Alabama fans was ready to run them out of town. Yeah. Being ready to get rid of them. But they are attacking defense, obviously. But they're still, from a talent standpoint, size standpoint, it's like Auburn last year. Auburn should line up and Auburn should be able to move the ball on. It really is no excuse for Auburn not to move the ball on them, to me. And my saving grace in all this, they're playing at home. That's all I got.
It's interesting thing about Ole Miss's defense. They're actually better at the run, stopping the run, than they are the pass. Just judging from their stats, right. I was just looking at some things. I think they're allowing a little over 120 yards a game rushing, but they're giving up almost 300 passing. Well, there you go again. Yeah. With another similar game plan or another similar team that we're playing, they really can't stop the passing game. But what you need it for? You know what I'm saying? when you're playing against the Auburn Tigers. But I agree with what you said. We're going to have to. If we do get after Jackson Dart, we have to, make sure our lane integrity, and our blitzing integrity is intact, which I think they can clean that up just from watching film of playing Jaden Daniels, which I feel like he's way more athletic than Dart, but they're similar. You know what I'm saying? Well, both are dual threats. But
kid yourself though.
Yeah, no, I ain't kidding myself now.
I was gonna say was it's a good scheme they run. They don't have the players LSU's got to run. They don't have the receivers. They don't have the quarterback.
I got you on that.
So,
but Dart is talented. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not.
I wouldn't mind having him.
But man, we just gonna have to line up.
I would say
get some of that old fashioned.
Just hit them in the mouth.
Yeah, man, and
they haven't had hardly any success in their history against us overall. Period. Much less at Auburn.
Right. And I mean,
that means something too.
We're gonna have to, man. Like you said, man, we got legitimately 4 good running backs.
They're different, but they all.
They're different, but they all. And I mean, Cobb showed his stuff this past week, but I mean, come on, man, we can put any of those guys back there, man. We just need to line up. And man, I hate to say it, but I feel like Thorne is gonna start again. But I sure would love to see Ashford, because who's not better to run your RPO offense right now?
Even the way they rotate them, I don't mind playing 2 quarterbacks if you do it with some common sense.
Yeah, they do. It does be very stupid when they put them in.
To me, if you put a kid in, let's just say if you're playing 2 quarterbacks and you put the kid in and he moves the team. Stick with him.
Stick with it.
Why pull him?
It don't matter who it is.
If we come out with Thorne and he moves the team up and down the field, Stick with them.
It's just like taking a hot shooter out of a basketball game.
I hate that, man.
I don't get telling him to chill out over here on the bench for
I tell you something, too, on that. I think no matter what happens, Auburn's going to get them another quarterback after this year.
Yeah.
They have to. But I think what they don't want to do, they want to make sure, not necessarily Thorne, I think they can probably care less about him. But I don't think they want to lose Ashford. I think they're playing him just due to the fact that they're playing him because they don't want to lose him. Mm-hmm. You see, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. I can't come up with nothing.
No, you trying to find something.
Right.
Give them the benefit of the doubt. And then sometimes, man, you just can't do it. That's what we are. That's what we are right now with this team. So, this is a short show. So, I mean, we know what happened last week.
Right.
So man, let's just move on. We'll move past it. Hopefully, we can win 3 out of these last 4 home games and maybe slip up and get one of these away games. So, I mean, it's still potential for us to have a 7-game a 7-win season. I'm sorry. 7, maybe 8. Who knows?
As bad as it's been this year, don't kid yourself. They win this game.
We're straight.
We're right where we need to be.
We're straight.
We're right. We're right on pace where we need to be. Yeah. As bad as it's been. Yeah. So, for that's something to feel good about.
Well, before we predict our scores or whatever, I see you got your secondary team on.
No, they're nothing to me.
I ain't got my.
I ain't got
Florida State.
I had actually got. My wife had got this at a estate sale.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Ooh, so you must pay about 10 cents for it or something.
Free probably. I think they just ended up giving it to me.
Yeah.
And I wore it the weekend Texas played Alabama, and it brought me some good luck. So I said, man, Auburn needs something good to happen.
You probably should have put a Tennessee shirt on.
I can't stoop that low.
I can stoop that low.
I can go low, but at some point, there's only so far I can go. So I'm wearing this because Texas made me feel good that weekend. So I'm hoping it'll bring me some good luck this week.
Okay, well,
we'll see.
Well, on the radar, I had mentioned to you right before we hit the record button. I got some games in my sight. I'm real interested about that Florida State Duke game. It's at Florida State. The line is 14.5, which I think is a little steep. Just the way that Duke is playing, but their quarterback is not faring as well. You can tell he's beat up and stuff. So maybe the Tomahawk prevail, and I don't know if they'll cover, but I believe they'll win.
Right.
But you had the Tennessee and Alabama game on your radar.
That line's a little high for me.
That line is high.
Because Tennessee, they're sort of like us on offense. Mm-hmm. They don't throw the ball well.
Right.
I mean, they got a capable. He's got good size. He's got a strong arm.
Oh, he got a very strong arm.
Their running game,
accuracy with
their running game has been the key for them. Mm-hmm. And they, for first time in years, they look like they actually play hardcore, solid defense. Mm-hmm. So I think Alabama's not great offensively. They're a great defensive team. I mean, obviously, they got Kevin Steele, and I knew he was going to turn the defense around, unfortunately. But I like Tennessee to keep it within the number. I think Alabama will ultimately win. Yeah. It won't surprise me either way. Tennessee has the better quarterback to me. Mm-hmm. And their defense is, I think it'll be a low-scoring, ugly game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Alabama will come out because it is at Tuscaloosa.
Because surely to God, which I don't watch Alabama as much as some people think I do. I watch them. They're on the secondary TV most times. But
third there.
Yeah, but to me, they did not play good at all last week.
No.
They could have easily, if they would have played somebody better, they wouldn't have. No. They wouldn't have won. It just happened to play. They did play Arkansas, so they was fortunate.
Yeah, they've been getting by the skin.
I think eventually it's going to catch up with them.
Yeah, it will.
Right now, I would say, this game is rough, but the game after that is going to be real rough for them, I believe. Because I could be wrong. It's possible, from a talent standpoint, that LSU's defense
may kick in.
May start getting a little. It don't have to be a lot better. Yeah, if it gets just a little better, because I don't care who you are, they gonna score on you.
Yeah,
you could be
them jokers.
You got the San Francisco 49ers.
They can score.
They'll move the ball on you,
brother. They can score on you, buddy.
So you better be ready.
And I was looking at them.
Right.
I think they play Houston, and that line 24.
Tricky. I would take. Believe it or not, they'll beat Houston, of course, but I would stay away from that point.
I stay away from that point.
I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah.
I would not touch it.
Not a lot of exciting games this week.
I'm going to keep an
still
eye
football.
on that old, what is it? It's Mississippi State and Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah.
Just due to the fact that we got them coming up. And I think that Mississippi State lost their starting quarterback for a couple of weeks. They got the old Vanderbilt transfer, old Mike Wright.
Mm-hmm.
And he's sort of like Ashford. He's a running quarterback. So I'm going to kind of keep an eye on that game just to do a little, scout report, what's coming ahead for us.
Yeah.
But it's not a whole lot.
Well, I feel like Arkansas
Should.
I mean, but they on like a 5-game losing streak or something. Something crazy.
Something
but
crazy.
So they
need to win. So they have to find one.
They ain't going to no bowl game, but that's it for them. But anyway, man, 6 o'clock Saturday night in Auburn, Jordan Hare, 6.5 point favorite of Ole Miss. Who you got?
Man, I'm gonna. I went back and forth with it. I want to take Auburn in the points. I really do, but I'm not. I'm gonna say Auburn's gonna put up they're gonna show better this week. Obviously, there is a scenario in my mind that they can win, but until they actually do it, I mean, it's all you're hoping and wishing at this point.
Yeah.
But I would say Ole Miss 35, Auburn 27.
Whew.
I think they'll get in the 20s. I really do. But there's a scenario based on, to me, it all comes down to quarterback play.
Yeah.
If they get real good quarterback play this game, because I think obviously they're gonna play better at home across the board, offense and defense. The offense, but until I actually see it, I can't just. I'm not gonna be a sunshine pumper. I'm just gonna,
Boy.
I'm gonna say, like I said, 35-27.
Boy, that 27, boy, that thing there. So check this out.
Right.
I had this was my original pick.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead.
I had Ole Miss 38-27. But I ran into one of our old good buddies, faithful Auburn fan, faithful viewer,
Right.
Mr. Eddie.
Oh my goodness. I already know where this is going.
Mr. Eddie looked at me. He looked at me in my eyes. Hey, shout out to Mr. Eddie.
Yes.
Hey, I saw him today. I'm not going to disclose where I saw him at, but listen. Mr. Eddie looked me in my eyes and he said, listen. He said, young buck. He said, the tables are going to finally turn.
Oh my goodness. I can see him saying that too.
So he said, listen. In honor of Mr. Eddie, I'm gonna go with Mr. Eddie's prediction.
Go ahead.
Mr. Eddie told me
Right.
Auburn 30-27.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going with them War Eagles, baby.
Man.
I'm signing out War Eagles.
That's it then. War Eagles.